Hey guys, I'm RozaldVaneGAME, and welcome back to another episode of Bioshock Infinite. I'm still sick, and yeah, last episode we basically... I'm trying to think already. We met up with Comstock for the first time in person, rather, and then we ended up killing him because Booker didn't know how to hold back, and the trigger of events have started happening after that, basically. And then we basically finally had Elizabeth figure out what the hell that cage was on the card, but apparently she realized that the cage is just notes, C-A-G-E, are like the song notes that you need to play to get the bird to listen to you, kind of thing. So that's a really cool thing, I guess. A good reveal, a cool reveal. And then we started fighting a bunch of Vox Populi who was trying to take us down with the ship. But we managed to survive that and finish that fight in the last episode, at the end of the last episode. But now we're here, meeting up with Elizabeth at the bow. I'm not sure what's going to be happening. I can't remember what's going to happen, but my expectation is that this is going towards the end of the game.
Booker, come here.
What? What is it?
Look, you can use the Songbird to bring the whole damn thing down. Destroy the siphon.
And that's what you want?
It's the only way we'll find the truth. About my finger, Comstock, everything.
How about no? Can I just leave? Can we just go to Paris like you wanted it to? Can we just go into New York and turn yourself in? Like, all this fighting just feels like everything surmounts to this weird stuff happening. Come on. I feel like the game pushes too hard to pursue the truth versus having to have, like, an ending that just feels more satisfactory of, like, not figuring out the truth.
Tear it down.
Oh.
Tear it all down.
The bird or the cage, achievement unlocked.
The Whistler! Elizabeth! The bird, Elizabeth! I lost control! He's coming!
No,
What?
he isn't.
Where is he? Where is he?
It's okay. It's all right. I'm here. Just let go. There you go. There you go.
Elizabeth, I'm sorry. What is this place? Elizabeth?
It's Bioshock
It's
1.
a doorway. One of many. This way.
What do you mean it's a doorway? Where are you going?
Oh, come on. Yes, it's this way.
What Comstock said about your finger. Is there an answer here? Do you...
Down here.
I love how this is the same exact situation of the road of, like, or the same exact space that Bioshock 1 was
Over
in.
here, Booker.
This was like the opening of Bioshock 1 right here, like the same exact room. It's just nice that they were able to replicate the whole space and, like, try to, like, make you go back to the past kind of feeling, almost. Hey, it's the Gatherer's Garden. Gardener's Gathering. Gathering Gardeners. I can't remember names. Names are really bad for me. Especially when you're sick, it's, like, worse in this scenario. Alright, let's keep it going. I mean, I kind of know where this is headed, but... Are we gonna get a crowbar? Ryan doesn't own us, of course. But a part of me feels like this is where we could have actually been here around the same time as Bioshock 1 was. Just that we came here a little bit after the fact that The main character from Bioshock 1 already went away,
This
or
is
went
where
ahead.
we have to go.
Why? What is going on? Elizabeth, what do you mean this is a doorway?
I'll have to show you.
But I feel like this is just toying with like nostalgic feeling, but also building on a connection to the Bioshock to the Bioshock 1 and 2 kind of universe, like trying to build on it instead of like just keeping it as like a simple one-off kind of thing almost.
Probably gonna regret this.
The physics on the skirt keeps getting messy. It's really bad.
City at the bottom of the ocean. Ridiculous.
Makes me miss Raptor very much, though. I really do miss Raptor a lot. From just going through this kind of weird sequence. Oh! Right, forgot. We had to go all the way up.
Thousands of doors. Opening all at once. My God, they're beautiful.
What, the stars?
It feels awkwardly too fast, though. This thing is moving way too fast.
Come on. Come on, it's this way. Come on.
Okay. Yeah, so we are hitting the end of the game now, it looks like. I know it's the end of the game because I've been here before.
Are you going to open it?
It's no good. Damn it. I thought once we were here, I could fully control it. I thought...
What is that?
It's a key.
Where did it come from?
It's always been there. I just couldn't see it.
Really? I have to open the door myself? Alright, well, I want to look for the last voxophone. I don't know if it's out here or not, or if I just missed it entirely.
See? Not stars. They're doors.
Doors to...
To everywhere. All that's left is the choosing.
Alright. Is there...
What are all these lighthouses? Why are we... Who are...
There are a million worlds. All different and all similar. Constants and variables.
What?
There's always a lighthouse. There's always a man. There's always a city.
How do you know this?
I can see them through the doors. You, me, Columbia, Songbird. But sometimes, something's different. Yet the same.
Constants and variables.
Yes.
I want to see what the other side offers, though. Again, I want to find the last voxophone. I don't think it's here, but it could be here. I have no clue. I doubt it would be here because it's like... we're towards the end of the game, and it just feels weird to just be like... aiming for something that's kind of like almost to nowhere else to go kind of feeling. But I don't know. Yeah, I'll go to the other one. The first pick I'll go to is the other side of the spot that I literally went to first, because I feel like that feels more appropriate since I took that path first instead of taking the other path, the straight path to wherever that was. All right. Very wet feeling of feet. Whoa.
Look.
It's us.
Not exactly. We swim in different oceans but land on the same shore. It always starts with a lighthouse.
I don't understand.
We don't need to. It'll happen all the same.
Why?
Because it does. Because it has. Because it will.
There's so many choices.
They all lead us to the same place. where it started.
No one tells me where to go.
Booker,
They already did.
you've already been.
Yeah. We're literally here means we've already started this journey, wherever that journey told us to go. It's exactly how they put it. That's a dead end, apparently. Okay. Okay, but this is the different lighthouse, though. This is like a entirely different lighthouse because of the fact that it's, yeah, it's like a different lighthouse because it's like, like the first lighthouse we saw was the Bioshock 1 lighthouse. This one is like the Bioshock Infinite lighthouse, so it's a little different, slightly. Because this is their story to tell, in a weird way. I'll go for the far path here. Let's keep it moving.
Wait a minute. I know this place. I was here. It's been 20 years ago, right after Wounded Knee. I was looking for...
Come on now, time's a-wasting.
Why were you here?
Are you ready to have your past erased? Are you ready to have your sins cleansed? Are you ready to be born again? Take my hand.
No. No, I don't want to.
But you already did, didn't you?
Sorry, I'm just getting distracted by the scenery rather than just worrying about like the what ifs on the ending of the situation here. Let's do it. Screw it.
Are you ready to be born again?
I am.
Do you hate your sins?
I do.
Do you hate your wickedness?
Yes.
Do you want to clean the slate, leave behind all you were before, and be born again in the blood of the Lamb? Jesus, wash this man clean. Father, make him born again. Lord,
stop it.
What are you doing to him?
Get off me! Get off!
Son!
You didn't go through with
You
it.
think a dunk in the river's gonna change the things I've done? Let's get out of here. I mean, these doors of yours, they're all tears, right? We'll open one up. Open one up to Paris. I want to be shut of all this.
Not until we find Comstock.
Comstock's dead!
No. He was here. This way.
I kind of know where this is headed, but I'm gonna keep waiting. I mean, it's getting a little bit obnoxious just to go through this again and again, but we'll get there hopefully soon.
And what of my debts?
Bring us the girl, and wipe away the debt.
This is the man who hired me to find you.
Really?
Yes. The girl for the debt.
Huh. Okay. Excuse me.
Wait, no, this is wrong. What is this? There was no baby. I remember. No, there was no baby, and if there was, I sure as hell wouldn't give it over to this guy.
Booker, you don't leave this room until you do.
Do it.
Wow.
Time is running short. Bring us the girl, and wipe away the debt.
I wonder what depth he had during this time. What kind of depth he has? It just makes no sense. He had no depth.
Go ahead.
No.
You can wait as long as you want. Eventually, you'll give him what he wants.
How do you know all this?
I can see all the doors, and what's behind all the doors. And behind one of them, I see him.
Comstock.
All right. I mean,
choice do
there's
I
no
have?
point. Yeah, there's no point in having to
The
wait.
debt's paid. Mr. Comstock washes you of all your sins.
Okay.
Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt.
There was no baby. The deal was I go to Columbia to get you.
Booker, you're bleeding.
Oh. I remember what I remember.
Now we've upset him.
I don't expect this next bit will do much for his mood.
Come on.
What are we doing here? Comstock's dead. We can just go on with our lives. You don't need
Dead?
to...
You mean like Chenlin? Like Lady Comstock? No. He is alive in a million worlds. It's not over because the Prophet is dead. It will only be over when he never even lived in the first place.
Scenery has been altered a little bit, though, because I don't think there was this many rocks on the lighthouse, but... Okay. Is there anything over here? Any voxophone? I doubt it. I think when I was playing this in the first game, I was having the same situation where I was only, like, missing one more voxophone. And I think the voxophone I'm missing is behind one of the locked doors or one of the locked places.
Hey! Hey, the deal's off, you hear me?
Unstable.
The deal is off! Give her back! Give her back!
Fine, are you mad?
No, you will not get caught in between. Come!
It is uncomfortable enough as it is.
It's going to be more uncomfortable if you don't come now!
If I get caught, it's going to be a very long time before we see each other.
You will not get caught, I promise!
You can't promise me that.
We're going to lose our window!
I'll wait, thank you.
I see, they're waiting on me to do
Give
something.
her back, you son of a bitch!
It's ready! Go!
No! No, no, no!
Shut down the machine!
No!
Shut it
Anna!
down! Shut down the
Anna!
machine! Now do it!
Give me back my daughter! No!
Oh, the pinky was because we... Yeah, the pinky got sliced off from the portal.
Anna? No. No. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Anna, I'm sorry.
She's gone, Booker. Anna's gone. You shared this room with your regret for almost 20 years. Until one day, a man came to you and offered you a chance at redemption. A chance for us to be together.
Oh. So AD is basically Anna DeWitt. The daughter's name, basically.
I told you it would work.
So we already know it works. The question is, will he?
Anna. So sorry, Anna.
Do you suppose he branded himself as some sort of penance?
I should have.
Don't see the point. What's done is done. What's done will be done. I suppose the brand is his hair shirt, as he is ours.
Wipe away the debt. Bring us the girl. Wipe away the debt.
See,
Bring us the
he's
girl.
starting to put his story together.
Wipe away the
You're quite fond of this theory of yours.
He's manufacturing new memories from his old ones.
Well,
Wipe away
the brain adapts.
I should know.
Bring us
I
the
lived
girl.
it.
Wipe away.
Booker, wake up. Booker, wake up. This is where it started.
I sold you. I sold you.
To your credit, you did try to weasel out of the deal.
This is all Comstock's fault. What if I went back? Killed him before he did any of this?
Things get set in motion.
How would one know how far back to go?
That's the only way to do it. Go back to when he was born, and I'll smother this bitch in his crib.
How does that work, though? How does that even work? It's so random. Can't even go through that shed again still. Second time did this space again, and Yeah. Alright. I need to probably clear my nose here for a little bit. Alright, let me clear my nose for a little bit. I'll be right back. It's gonna be a quick transition, as it always should be, so, yeah. Alright, sorry about that. Yeah, my nose has been accumulating as we were playing, so I was like,
Booker, are you sure this is what you want?
I have to. It's the only way to undo what I've done to you.
Booker DeWitt,
okay.
are you ready to
What
be
is this?
born again?
Why are we back here?
This isn't the same place, Booker.
Of course it is. I remember.
Are you ready to leave behind all
You're
that
not-
has gone before? Wipe the
You're not-
slate clean.
Who are
and
you?
start
You
anew.
chose to walk away,
Washed
but in
the
other
blood
oceans,
of the Lamb.
you didn't. You took the
Do you
baptism.
hate your
And you were
sin?
born again as a different man.
I like how there's another one with the
It
hair.
all has to end. To have never started. Not just in this world, but in all of ours.
Smother him in the crab.
Smother, 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 smother. Before the choice is made. Before you are
And
reborn.
what name shall you take, my son?
He's Zachary Comstock. He's Booker DeWitt.
No. I'm both.
I like how I took a break right as this is the scene that we're supposed to get to. Credits. There it is. And achievements. A lot of them. Should Old Acquaintance, Saw the Elephant, Tin Soldier. All achievement unlocks. Alright. So that's the end of the game. Gosh. How should I put it? I was kind of expecting the end of the game to, like, approach, like, really quickly by that point already, because I was like, oh, all the voxophones were, like, dwindling down to, like, the final few. I was just like, okay, that's really a good indicator to tell me where I'm at in progress here at this point. And that was pretty much near the end of the game. I am missing one voxophone, which kind of sucks, because I don't know where that last one is. But that was to be expected, where I was going to miss one at least again, which is stupid. This is the second time I played through this game, and I still missed the last one every time. Anyways, yeah, how do I feel about this game after playing this the second time? After playing this the first time in 2013, 2014? I finished it in 2014. I picked it up in 2013, but I didn't really finish it until 2014-ish, I think, or at least near the end of 2013, when I first got it, I think. I might be wrong. I might be mixing the years, but who knows. Anyways, point is, 2013, 2014, I played this game for the first time on an Xbox 360 on a very tiny little screen on my Xbox 360, and playing this again on a bigger screen on a PC where, you know, like, there's a lot more quality to it. It looks freaking beautiful as ever, as always. 10 years after its release, it still looks amazing. And yeah, I just think that this game was one of my favorites back in the past. Like, it was one of, like, my top few games, but that was only because I had such a small pool of games that I've played at that point as a teenager, that I'm just like, oh, I don't really have a lot of good reference. Like, back then, my favorite games were Assassin's Creed, the series itself, in particular Assassin's Creed 2, all the way through Revelations, the Ezio's trilogy, basically, was my favorite by that point, I think. 4 hasn't come out, I think, at that point yet. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the case. I can't remember if 4 came out during that time, but it was Assassin's Creed series. Bioshock series was a fantastic one that I loved. Arkham series, the Batman Arkham series. But this was one of the many old games that really inspired me to, like, really get into, like, sort of thinking about games and narrative and story and stuff. I never really thought about it usually until at this point of this game. But of course, revisiting it now, I can see all the flaws that comes to play with this game. Like, it's not as great as the games that I've seen nowadays. Like, I've been playing a lot more Japanese games, of course. Yakuza series is like one of the best for me in terms of the narrative, where there's just a lot going on in there, and I think that that's where I like narrative being there. And then, of course, there's a bunch of, like, there's like this sort of like renaissance of indie games that came out with a lot of fantastic, beautiful narratives that came out with it, and it was fantastically well made. And like, there's just more and more new stories that just comes out in games that has beaten out like this game in particular. I don't know if it's like comparable to being like one of the best anymore at this point, because everything has changed. The stories have gone way better, has gone like escalated in a way that's very different based on comparison to Bioshock Infinite. Like, even the first few Bioshock games have been better than the Infinite series, the Infinite installment, unfortunately, because as I said during one of the episodes of this playthrough, this game struggles to try to keep a consistent story with the fact that it's about parallel universe. Parallel universe and time travel are like one of the trickiest topics to play with in terms of narrative and entertainment. Like, there's one big hint, or not hint, one big thing that I think people at this time would understand parallel universe and stuff is, and time travel stuff is like very hard to kind of maneuver with, and that is through the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU. Like, literally everyone is so not interested in like the whole alternative like version of stuff unless you actually can sit down, watch somebody explain word for word what the hell is going on. Because unfortunately, a simple person can't really go through like very much like parallel universe style like storytelling. Like, MCU does that, tries to do that with multiple stories and multiple TV series, but you have to consume all of it to understand the bigger picture of the story, and have somebody sit down and explain to you like what's in the comics that in comparison to the movie itself. And here it's struggling with the same problems in the fact that the game is trying to sit you through a narrative, but makes it too messy to the point where like things could just be slotted in just randomly, and you won't know why it's there or anything until the very end, or it's just convenient in a way that makes the story just progress in a way. And it just didn't really sit right with me personally, because nothing builds up to it. There's a lot of stories in games that just sometimes could just like get dropped in, and it just doesn't work. And then there's some things that just drop into the story, and it does work. But in this case, I think this game had it very poorly, though, because it handled it very poorly because of the fact that it was just, sometimes it just felt like it was convenient because it needs to make it needed to push Booker in a direction that made sense for this extra bit of level design, and it kind of felt irresponsible in a weird way. But I understand that like it needed to make the game lengthy enough. But yeah, I think there's this weird feeling that this game could have done well if it hadn't been this long. I think the game should have been probably like a few less hours shorter, like maybe 2 hours shorter. But I think that they needed to hit a mark, and that's probably what trouble that was the type of trouble they probably ran into with trying to make this story more condensed and more concise with like what they're trying to hit for the parallel universe stuff. But I think one of the biggest signs that I disliked about this game's like story to it as well is like there's no reward. The reward is just the truth that Booker is actually Comstock but in a different universe. Like, that was the cool aha moment. Like, they're both the same people, but they're just in a different universe with a different name. And of course, at the end, it's representative that if they kill Booker and Comstock before they were born, quote unquote, then Elizabeth will cease to exist, basically. Like, all the other Elizabeths should die off with the death of that Comstock, basically. Which is kind of dumb, I honestly think. Like, it's just the moral of the story, the lesson of the story, is nothing even matters. And that's just kind of dumb. And everything is fated to go the same way. It's a cool lesson, but it just feels non-rewarding, nothing interesting to a player who's just playing it for for like a feeling of sorts. And I think a lot of games that have narrative as like the forefront and has to push for a feeling, it's a feeling that doesn't feel personal, I guess I would say. Like, everyone is not always thinking about, oh, what is my fate to the end, or what is destiny, what is parallel universe, like, what if I was somebody else in a different universe, kind of thing. Like, I can see where all this game does that, and that's really cool, but at the same time, it's too disconnected to a player who probably doesn't think about that kind of stuff. Like, you look at God of War 2018, I played that. It's in relations to, you know, people who are parents. Like, Kratos is a father to Atreus, and you get to see the dynamics of being a parent in a game. I'm not a parent, but I can see where it's coming from, and it feels relatable in a weird way. And that's the case with why that narrative is really well done. Last of Us is almost the same thing, parent and child almost. It's just a little bit different dynamics and stuff like that. And that's there's that sort of relationship that builds on that. And like I don't know, there's many other like games that kind of does a different relationship kind of thing, different lessons that learns, and the reward is like, you know, you're saving someone, or you're like, you took down something that makes you feel like the adrenaline of being able to do the thing you wanted to do. But like in general, it's just the emotion behind this just feels confused. Like it feels like it ends off in a confusion for a lot of people. Like, what do you want me to expect? What do you expect me to do? To feel for something? What am I supposed to feel here, you know? Like, it just feels kind of bad for me in a general sense. Like, you're just feeling confusion at the end of this game. It feels great at first, but then over time you really think back, you're like, okay, I'm actually confused. Why? What was the point of playing this game if I was to make myself feel a certain way that's like confusing in the case of stuff. I was just showing a clip of Troy Baker playing guitar with Ken Levine overwatching them singing, I guess. Yeah, I'm probably gonna silence it still. I'm not gonna play it because I feel like the music's gonna play over, or the music is gonna get copywritten or something. So I'm gonna avoid that for now. Yeah. Otherwise, that's pretty much my thought of the narrative. I think the narrative is the big point of this game. I think, like, it's relying on like a big part factor to the narrative being like the big point of this game. Though I think the gunplay is pretty well done. I think, even though it's a little bit like weird because the reticle, the crosshair. There we go. The crosshairs aren't as very good because it's hard to see accuracy in a way. Like, the accuracy of the crosshairs are really like weird. Like, there are sometimes the circles and they can like open up sometimes. Like, they have like the weird, like, the UI is fantastic, but it's just, I think the accuracy of each weapon makes it feel harder to use and utilize, but maybe because I suck at shooting, that it's just harder to maneuver through a lot of the shooting sometimes. I'm like always like a hair away from actually shooting the enemies correctly sometimes with the reticles that are like circles, so it's just kind of like, that's the sort of thing I've been playing with the gunplay, I guess. But for the abilities, I feel like they skimped out a lot on the ability. I really wish they had the Bioshock 1 and Bioshock 2 abilities. Like, all that abilities just felt like they were just tossed out the window, just minimized to like just a specific few. I mean, there were some cool additional ones, like the charge one is actually a completely new one, which was, I like that ability a lot because it's like something that's specifically different that you don't see in a lot of cases. Like, Dishonored has like the weird like teleport blink, but it's not like a charge where it just goes directly like all the way to that enemy. And I think that's a really cool fun ability that I liked a lot. Even the bucking bronco is like a pretty good one too. That's new and different, but it's like, yeah, I think it's a little bit different from the case. Oh, actually, no, bucking bronco is like the same thing as like the first Bioshock's like the wind one, the wind stuff. But bucking bronco has like more of like an area, I guess, instead of the wind. Being just one singular enemy being flown up, like, or something like that. Anyways, yeah, the abilities I felt like they skimped out on. The upgrades to the ability felt kind of dumb, honestly. I just wish there was just like a a huge variation versus just upgrades to like making that one ability stronger, I guess. But I guess they didn't have time to think about those abilities as much because they would have to try to section them out to make them all appear at a sort of like place for tutorialization, or to let them be able to get the player to understand how those abilities work, which makes sense that they did that on purpose to just leave it at a good space or a good number to tutorialize with, but hard to kind of like create a great set of patch of like different types of like abilities that's put together in a way. So that's what I think for that. For the ability and gunplay and gameplay as well. I do love the Skyhook though. I think Skyhook was a very unique experience for a game like this, and I really liked it a lot. Though I think that it was not used as much in a lot of places. It's used at like specific like encounter zones, which is even funnier to me because I was just like, oh, we're just gonna use it as like just a point of encounter and less about traveling. Even though they used it a lot in the earlier points for travel, and then it becomes less used, and it becomes more inclined to like just let the player walk through like enclosed, encapsulated places, and like walking through doors, walking indoors, and so on and so forth. Like it was just a lot less of the skyhooks being used, which is kind of sad, partly. I think that's mostly it. And then enemy types are really well done too, I think. There was a lot of cool varieties of enemies. Enemy types with like RPG types of enemies where they bomb at you, or they have like the crank gun, I forgot what their soldiers, those little robots. The big robots and handyman stuff, like going through those is pretty interesting and cool to deal with and attack on. Yeah, unfortunately, the siren enemies only showed up like for one section, and it kind of sucks. They didn't utilize that as much. I kind of wished or hoped that there would be more, but they just didn't choose to do a lot more apparently on it. So it kind of sucked a little bit that they didn't utilize that one beyond that sort of a psychiatric space, which I kind of wish they did more of, but they didn't use them as much. Because it does do a good job at trying to create new encounters in a way that's like different, or encourage stealth in a way that like feels very not needed but kind of needed. I think that's also another case of why the siren doesn't work, is because there's this sense of wanting you to do stealth, but there's like no point in doing stealth. The game doesn't offer that stealth section in the game, so that's kind of like one of the weakest points of trying to do or include in the game. Oh.
Anna.
What? I'm still alive? Booker, are you okay? Not here?
Anna? Anna? Is that you?
Yeah, I don't really care, honestly, because it just makes it feel kind of weird that it just ends off with that. Just to make it seem like it's needed to give a proper closure, I guess. Alright, so that's Bioshock Infinite. Back to the main menu. Yep, trying to connect back onto the account, whatever. There we go. Cool, so that's pretty much Bioshock Infinite. I didn't get to hear any of the music because I turned it off, so that's whatever the point. Voice acting was well done. I think the voice acting was pretty good. I think the characters were fine, I think. Elizabeth and Booker were pretty interesting characters, I think, for what they were. And it caters more towards the story being, like, the biggest point versus the characters themselves. I don't think the characters were the most important pieces. I think they're the important pawns, or the important sort of aspect of the story that helps build the story a little bit. So, yeah, that's what I think about those characters as well. I think that's mostly it. Yeah, that's pretty much all I could have to say for the Bioshock Infinite main game. So, we are done with the Bioshock Infinite series as the main game part, but we're going to have some 2 new games to work with. Burial at Sea, Episode 1 and 2. Those are 2 games, 2 DLCs that are part of this package deal. I'm not sure if I want to put it as a separate series, but I probably will actually put them as separate series, so I will probably do that. So this is Bioshock Infinite, the end of the series here. We'll go into the next series, which is going to be the Burial at Sea, episode 1 and 2. I have not played them, actually. I bought them part as the season pass, but I just never actually got to touch them because I ended up being... I don't know what caused me not to play Burial at Sea episode 1 and 2. I think I only seen the opening of episode 1, but I never got to play through it, like, in one sitting at all. Like, never even got to continue after the whole opening of it. I wonder why I stopped... I wonder why I didn't play Burial at Sea. I think I might have been playing something else in the meantime. Like, I was busy playing, like, other games around that point when it came out. Because Burial at Sea came out, like, pretty late. I think it came out, like, 2015? I might be wrong. 2015 or so. Like, that was, like, me in my college days already at that point. I think it was because I was playing other games, yeah. I think I was starting to get into PC games and stuff like that, and I was playing other games instead of, like, the Xbox 360 at that point. I kind of basically drifted off from playing my Xbox from that point, because 2015 is, like, Xbox One era by that point, I think. Yeah, something like that. Xbox One and a PS4 era basically started in 2014, 2015-ish. So that's probably why I lost interest in continuing into some of my older games in the Xbox 360. But yeah. Anyways, point is, that's pretty much it for this Infinite series. I will leave links down below to pick up this game if you want to buy this game for yourself, to play the game through and through, get the achievements, beat me out on the achievements if you haven't yet. This is a pretty old game, so there's a high likely chance that a lot of people probably already have it, but they might not, but who knows. But if you haven't picked it up for yourself, I'll leave those links down below for all the versions of it if you want to pick them up. Beat me out on the achievement stuff that I just couldn't beat up, apparently. And yeah, the next episode, or the next series, will be Burial at Sea, which will be picked up on a different sort of, like, video kind of style, or different, like, opening and stuff like that, so it's going to be, like, a little bit different. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, other than that, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the Burial at Sea, if you're interested in seeing me play through that. If not, other than that, hope to see you guys in another video, or... if not that either, then hope you guys have a great, amazing day, weekend, night, or whenever you're watching this. Other than that, I'm looking forward to Burial at Sea. I really, really want to see what the hell is going to happen at Burial at Sea. I just don't remember too much of it, and I'm finally excited to just play some new content that I've never touched on before, and see how far I can get through that particular content. Because I heard that the Burial at Sea is really good too, but I don't remember how good it was in comparison. It's kind of like the Minerva's Den effect with the Bioshock 2, where people were, like, not happy about Bioshock 2, but Minerva's Den was pretty well done. It's just like that weird effect, I bet. Who knows? We'll see. Other than that, I'm pretty much done. So yeah, Roz out.